5 fun single-player card games. Card games with one deck. Feeling bored of regularly scrolling on your smartphone? Want to do something which can challenge your skills and your mind? Well, then we have something very exciting and entertaining for you. Let's introduce you to 5 fun and challenging single-player card games. But before going further, if you're new to the BoardGames101.com YouTube channel, click on the red subscribe button below and hit the bell icon so that you can get notified about our fantastic upcoming videos in return. Now to some exciting stuff. Whenever we think about playing cards, we always visualize 2 or more people playing. It's hard to imagine a single player involved in it. And if there are any single player games, then there'll hardly be any fun element. But to your surprise, if you were not aware, there are single player games that are full of fun and excitement and also include strategy and logical thinking. So shall we start the countdown? First on our list is Accordion. Number 1, Accordion. This game's name is based on a musical instrument called accordion, which is also referred to as squeeze box. Why so? You'll understand as you'll know the rules. It's an easy game to learn and play. Using a single deck of cards, deal them out one at a time, left to right and continue down into rows, space permitting. A card or pile of cards can be placed onto another card or pile if the top card matches either that suit or value. Also, cards and piles can only be matched to their immediate left or 3 to the left. The object of the game is to pile all the cards into one stack. Remember to continue your sequence through the rows as well. For example, a 9 of clubs that is the very first card in the second row can be placed on the 9 of hearts that is third from the right on the first row. The rows are there to save you space on the table. The number of cards in each row does not matter. There are 2 variations on how to play. One where the player deals out every card first, and the other where the player starts to pile up cards as the dealer. With a little luck and skill, you should be able to sequence all of the cards together and fold them into a single pile, like a folding accordion. Hence the name of the game. Coming up next on our list is Haunt You is a Devil's Grip. Haha, don't worry, it's just a name given to the game. Number 2, Devil's Grip. This Solitaire variant is a unique single-player card stacking game, requiring 2 decks of cards with the aces removed from both. Shuffle them together and deal out 3 rolls of 8, face up, and consolidate the rest for a stockpile which is set aside. Now, the objective of the game is to stack the cards according to suit and into piles of specific values, which are: the top row of 4 piles shall be consisting of 2, 5, 8 and Jack, each pile of the same suit. The middle row of 4 piles will have 3, 6, 9 and Queen, each pile of the same suit. And the bottom row of 4 piles shall have 4, 7, 10 and King, each pile of the same suit. The objective sounds a bit complex, but once you have a visual example, it becomes very easy to understand. Initially, when you spread the cards into rows, it will look like a mess in front of you. But now you can start stacking by suit from anywhere. When you place a card onto another pile, pull the top face down card from the stockpile into the empty space and continue. Once you have exhausted all of the moves available to you from the setup, now you can start with the cards in the stockpile, pulling them 3 at a time. Quite similar to the traditional Solitaire. Place these onto their appropriate pile, and again, immediately replace any empty spaces you create with the top face down card from the stockpile. Repeat as necessary, cycling through the stockpile in 3s until you have either run out of moves or you have sorted all the cards into their piles and won the game. If you like to keep score on incomplete games, count the number of cards left in the stockpile once you have run out of moves, and the lower the number of cards left, the better. See? Easy peasy Japanesey. Let's go to Egypt now. Psst. Next card game name is Pyramid. Number 3, Pyramid. Well guys, the Pyramid is a matching game played with a single deck of cards where the objective of the game is to clear the pyramid of cards away by collecting pairs of cards that add up to a value of 13. To set up your game, you will shuffle the deck and deal out 28 cards face up into a pyramid pattern. Make it easy by starting at the top with a single card, then lay 2 cards down on the next row, staggering them slightly and covering up the bottom half of the single card at the top. Repeat through 7 rows to attain a pyramid structure, then set the rest of the deck aside as the stockpile. To start playing, you may match 2 cards that total 13 from the pyramid that is fully exposed, which means that there are no other cards covering them from the lower row. or you can choose a card from the stock to match with a card in the pyramid. Face cards have specific values. Kings alone count as 13. These are free, they get set aside by themselves. Queens are 12. Jacks are 11. Aces count as ones. For a brief example in the picture above, the 8 and 5 in the bottom row can be placed aside, and the 9 and 4 in the bottom row can be placed aside. But the king on the right side of the second row cannot be placed until the 7 below it is matched with the 6. You may go through the stockpile one card at a time to find more matches, and go through them again as many times as you want until you are either out of moves or clear away the pyramid. We know you are feeling excited now and just want to jump in with your deck of cards to play one of the games. But stay with us for a little while as we have some more single player card games in our kitty. So our next game is known as Monte Carlo Solitaire. Number 4, Monte Carlo Solitaire. To start play, shuffle up a full deck and deal out 25 face-up cards in a 5x5 grid, then hold the rest to the side in a stockpile. The game is then played rather quickly, matching 2 cards of the same value, 2 fours, 2 aces, etc. that are adjacent to each other. This can be to the left, right, top, bottom, diagonal, all count, and discarding them. Once you have matched and discarded as many pairs as you can, the rest of the grid is consolidated by moving all cards to the left and up. This means that any cards that are on the leftmost side of the grid go up to the next row by entering on the right hand side. Then fill in the rest of the 5x5 grid at the bottom right with the cards in the stockpile and resume play. After playing a few games, you may find that there are times when you hold back from matching a pair because you can see how the board will reshape after a consolidation that creates a new advantage or reaches a card you could not match beforehand. That's a fine strategy, and you'll be encouraged once you understand the nuances of the game. Monte Carlo Solitaire is quick and easy to play, but also can be a little more challenging than it appears at first glance. Here comes our final game, guys. It is known as Bowling Solitaire. Number 5, Bowling Solitaire. For the bowling enthusiasts out there, here's a solo card game variant for you when you can't get to the lanes. This game requires some scrap paper, pen or pencil, and only the ace through the 10 of 2 suits from a deck of cards. Hold all of the face cards and other 2 suits of the deck to the side, and then shuffle your 20 cards together. Now on your scrap paper, create a bowling scorecard. Draw a horizontal grid with 10 boxes and include 2 smaller boxes in the top right corner of each frame. The smaller boxes represent the number of pins knocked down in each frame, while the larger box will be the total score up to that frame. To play, you will attempt to remove or knock down the pin cards using the face-up ball cards. Pins can be knocked down in 3 ways. The pin card and the ball card have the same value. 2 or more pin cards equal the value of the ball card, and the last digit of the pin cards equals the value of the ball card. For example, the ball card is a 6, and there are 2 pin cards equaling 16, such as 2 8s. Certain pins cannot be knocked down if other pins are still standing, namely the middle card of the row 3 and the middle 2 cards of row 4, unless other pins adjacent to them are either knocked down first or are knocked down at the same time. Remove pins using the ball cards and place them to the side. Then flip up the next ball card from the pile. Continue to do this until you either remove all of the pins or cannot remove any more with the ball cards you have in front of you. This counts as your first ball of the frame. Reshuffle the ball cards and re-rack them into the 3 piles and flip the top card of each pile face up. This is now your second ball of the frame, and you may continue to remove pin cards as you did before. To keep score, if the ball cards knock down 5 pins, score 5 points in the upper square on your sheet. Then roll the second ball for that frame. If the second ball knocks down 2 pins, score an additional 2 points for a total of 7 for that frame. Should you score a strike and remove all the pins with your first ball, mark your score sheet with an X, and if you remove all of the pins with the second ball, mark your score sheet with a slash to indicate a spare. Strikes and spares are scored the same as in traditional lane bowling. When a strike is bowled, award 10 points for knocking down all 10 pins. Plus then add the total of the next 2 rolls to that frame. For a spare, the bowler gets 10, plus the total number of pins knocked down on the next roll only. If in the event you cannot use your ball cards to remove the pin cards, score a 0 on the scorecard and move to the next ball or frame. Once you've completed the first frame, reshuffle your pin cards and reset. Play through 10 frames and Keep in mind that you may throw 3 balls in the final frame should you score a strike or spin. Again, just as in normal lane bowling, add up your score at the end. There is a maximum score of 300 points per game. Can you get a bowl a perfect game all by yourself? There you have it. Some great single-player card games to play while relaxing with a cocktail at the bar or hanging solo at home.